We have recently had a lot of discussion about moving into a caravan because the rooftop tent just isn't cutting it. You guys have asked lots of questions that are planning to do the lap. Is a rooftop tent going to be the right decision for yourself? Today, after 2 years of travel, 1 year in a rooftop tent, 1 year in a caravan, we are going to share our experience so you guys can make a better informed decision so you can get out here and do this lap. Starting off with the rooftop tent, we loved the freedom from downsizing from a caravan and going to a vehicle that is so compact but has all the creature comforts of home was just unreal. We were able to go down tracks that we certainly couldn't have before, and we've tackled some of the best bucket list items around Australia with our home on wheels. It has been awesome to not have to worry about what roads you're going to go down, all the adventures that we've just found that we can tackle and go without even doing research. Still do your research. It has just made the trip unbelievable from where we have seen what we've found along the way that we didn't even know was there. It was just picking a road and going down it and knowing that we are going to get through with our home on wheels. Being so compact makes it a lot easier to travel. You're not going to have to worry about car parks and the likes of that. You can just rock up into town, everything's there to pack away your groceries straight away. Probably a big reason that people are going to head this way is budget. You're going to be able to save a lot of money, still have everything you need to get around here and travel. Having the rooftop tent, you can get them bigger than this one. I would suggest that if you are a bigger person. I'm 6'4" and ours has just started to feel a little bit, not claustrophobic, but you just can't stretch out on those nights that you want to. Just know we do sleep with myself, dog and Maddie, so there are 3 of us up there, which can get pretty squishy at times, but we've made it work. Every sort of car is different, so it'll depend on your vehicle and where you can mount things, whether it's a ute tray or a wagon like ourselves, but we still were able to put 200 amps of lithium. Personally, we would look at going up to 400 next time just to be comfortable and make sure that we can just run everything all the time. But the hardest part with that as well is solar. We don't have the roof space, being so compact, to be able to chuck all that solar up to charge it. Luckily, we do have an alternator charger also inbuilt with the DC to DC charger. But if you want to sit still and stay in one spot, it can be sometimes hard to charge up your batteries again. And that has meant that we've moved on from camp to just get that charge from the alternator. We have personally carried 45 litres of water underneath the car, which mounts up under it. And then we've always kept a 20-litre jerry can spare just in case of emergencies, or that is just our last reserve, and then we know how much we have left. That has worked for us, and we can probably go about a week off grid with that as long as we are parked near a creek or the town provides us with a shower. You'll be surprised at how many towns actually have showers. Wiki Camps is going to be your best friend for finding that sort of stuff. But 65 litres has worked okay for us. We have made it work. We are quite water efficient, but I would try, if you really can, rule of thumb, try and have that 100 litres of water minimum. I believe that is going to be the comfort spot with being able to stay off grid and just doing those other little things like giving yourself a shower and filling up that bucket and keeping you off grid. It still might only be for that week, but you just don't have to think about the water as much as we have. Our biggest worry about going into a rooftop tent is that it is completely canvas. So on those warm days, those rainy nights, anything like that, what are we going to do if it starts to come in? Fortunately, the company that we went with has been absolutely faultless. We have had rain coming in sideways, but not into the tent whatsoever. No dew or anything like that, which has been really, really awesome. People that we've camped next to, unfortunately, have had that issue. So my biggest thing would be weather seal it as best you can before you head out there. Test it and make sure that your rooftop tent is ready for all conditions before you leave, because once you're on the road it's going to be hard to do, and a good night's sleep is going to make all the difference. So really make sure that is watertight and also quite friendly when it's warm. We are now in temperatures up around that 32 degrees. It still stays pretty warm overnight. We take a portable fan up there with us, and we've found that that works really well. On those really stinking hot nights, there isn't going to be much you can do, unfortunately, whether you move away from them or park next to a creek, so you can just get up in the middle of the night and really cool off. Weather, you can't escape it, but make sure it is prepared for everything for you guys. Having the rooftop tent, it is still quite comfortable. Our biggest thing is not having a workspace. We work on the road, doing YouTube, running our business online, working with brands. Everything is unfortunately on the computers, so we just need that space to sit down comfortably and work. That is something we just haven't been able to find. I know we built the back out to be able to have a seat where we could sit in the back, but it just didn't really work. That works better if in the Troop Carrier version, if you have the roof conversion done where you cut the roof, because you're able to lift that bed up inside as well, and that gives you enough room to stand up and then also move around, which would also provide a seating area. So at the moment, Maddie is currently sitting in the front seat doing editing, and it just isn't working for a full-time job. Your space and storage is limited. So depending on what vehicle you have, you are really limited to the amount of clothes you can take, spares you can take. Anything revolving around travel that you want to travel with is super limited and compact to that area, which might mean at the moment we are sort of heading very remote and we cannot take enough food, water, all those sort of supplies to stay off grid. Right now, unfortunately, we just have things scattered everywhere, and along the way you sort of grow and get new products that you really want. And then if they're a bit bulkier, you have nowhere to store them. Trying to find a space for everything is super difficult in such a compact area. As we found out recently, when it hits the fan, you are without your home on wheels. So that is off to the mechanics, and there is no way to sleep in there on their site. So you are going to have to look for accommodation. If you travel with a dog like us, you are going to have to look for pet-friendly accommodation. Just added that level of stress. The other advice we have just recently been given is a lot of people travel with a small tent, and unfortunately they have had to use that. So potentially have that backup option just in case things happen, because unfortunately, life on the road, pretty much every day you can guarantee something happens. We were unable to make it completely off-grid. We don't have grey water. We don't have a proper shower that leaks into the grey water so we can catch all of it. And unfortunately, that is a massive requirement, especially whilst doing the lap. You're sort of not going to want to miss out on certain towns that really tick those boxes and things for you. I know you can pay at a caravan park, but if you're trying to do it on a budget, it adds up super quickly. So trying to actually make it completely off-grid is really difficult. We haven't found a solution, unfortunately, and we've spoken to other travellers, and that's sort of been their issue. I know Western Australia was pretty strict on it, and we had seen when we travelled with a caravan, rangers come around and tell other people to leave those sites and move on. This is a once-in-a-lifetime lap for a lot of people. So if that is something that you are going to want to do and see those towns, either do your best here, or we're going to have to talk about the big box. Straight away with the caravan, as we were just saying, they can be completely self-sufficient. Personally, if I was going to go through all the effort of towing something, I would certainly be looking to make it self-sufficient as any way possible. Even if I was to buy secondhand and that didn't have grey water plumbed in, I would go and try and find a grey water tank. Even if it's like a 50-litre storage area, I would certainly plumb it in, because those campsites that want it, as long as they can see it's under there and it can hold the water, you are fine to stay and see that area in a comfortable manner. Also on that, I know a lot of people, as soon as I say off-grid and being free, stop being tight, it's not also about that. The cost of the caravan parks, yes, it does hurt the pocket, but Most of the time you get a free camp that is absolutely gorgeous. For some reason they seem to put them in prime spots and they have a gorgeous view. They might be overlooking the water and it is just super special and a lot better than being jammed in a caravan park right on top of each other. That's why I say I would definitely look at doing that so I can experience all those places and just be self-sufficient wherever I go. Especially with this style right behind us, storage is in abundance. There are tunnel boots. There's a box on the very front that stores all your stuff. There are so many cupboards, overhead cupboards, under bed storage, under seat storage, you name it, it's got it. So you are going to be able to make sure you take everything with you on the road. That is another thing to remember with when deciding is you are literally leaving. If you are going to say go for 6 months or a year, you're going to want all those creature comforts of your home to take with you. So having that storage is such a big deal to be able to make sure you can take everything. A lot of us take a lot of tools, a lot of spares, fishing gear, clothes. It all adds up and you're going to need that storage. And another big thing is food. Right now we are currently stocked up so much that we have food in our aisles because we just couldn't fit it in our pantry. Whereas in a caravan we would have been fine. There is so much room to have stored it. Have even more food to be able to make sure that we do not run out on this trip. To be honest, I think we've chucked some in there and made our own cupboard. The space. Look at the difference. So the storage, the comfort, having a couch, having a full-size bed potentially, to be able to stretch out, hang your feet over the edge, relaxing comfort, so you can escape the weather and be out of all the elements. When it comes to caravans, the sky is the limit to be able to chuck up that solar, use all the solar space on top of that roof and just load it right up. So you can charge those batteries, stay off grid longer in that regard. And then the battery power itself, there's so much room, whether it's under the bed, under the chassis area, to mount those batteries and have a power system ready to run all those appliances, stay off grid and just be super capable for you guys. Yes, that does come with a massive cost, but that's the thing. Budget always determine what direction you're going to take and how far you can sort of go with these things, unfortunately. Water is another massive thing that is going to keep you off grid. We only carry 65. Straight away this comes standard with 200 litres. So that is going to give us extra time off grid, which is huge. I believe that 200 litres minimum in a caravan is the way to go. Water and power are your biggest things that you are going to return back to towns for to try and either top up or recharge. So having those two sorted is going to be a massive advantage for you to be able to stay in an area that you absolutely love and enjoy with all the comforts there. But why did we get rid of the van? Well, it was so big. We went for the big 19, 20-foot style of van and it was massive. Don't get me wrong, super comfortable. It felt like a home on wheels, but it just couldn't go down those tracks. We were just so eager to just turn off and go down. You know, you drive along, you see a track and you're like, where does that go? Unfortunately, that just limited us and we just could not do it. Where would that? That's where we're heading, baby. Suss it out and see where the adventure takes us. The height will also determine what bridges you can go through. There are roads that are not suitable for caravans, as I mentioned with this one. So it just limits you so much in that aspect of where you can go, what you can do, and just pick any adventure and go for it. Big things come with a big cost. So also the money outlay to buy one of these is absolutely unreal. And that would get us around Australia for 2 years full time with that expense. So that is something that I always think about, is every dollar spent is less time we get to be out exploring these gorgeous spots. And 2 years on the road or a big caravan, I know what way I keep going in my head, and that is I want the experience. And that was a massive reason we sort of veered away from it to trial this option. And with that also comes the ongoing expenses, insurance, maintenance, checking your wheels, all that sort of stuff. Things go wrong, just happens. Something that we have recently discussed is, unfortunately, you can't guarantee the quality. We hear so many stories, whether it is the lower tier brands or the top tier brands. We've heard some horrific stories, some that are ending up in court, and it is just, you can't determine the quality. And that scares me, to be honest, moving forward. Outlaying that much money and people from all aspects are having major issues, it is quite daunting and makes it quite difficult to make a decision, and something that we have really been trying to put a lot of thought into, because we do want to head this direction again. But what is the right option? Where do you pour that amount of money into and hope that it is still going to take you down those roads that you want to go, and those tracks, the Unadada track, heading up the Cape York, on the Gibb River Road? You're going to want to tick those ones off whilst traveling around. There's plenty more as well, don't get me wrong. Doing it in comfort is just going to make that trip so much more enjoyable, and quality is a massive part of that. So really, before you go out there, do your research, look at those secondhand ones maybe that have been tried and tested, but it's just something that's very daunting for us at the moment after going around and looking at them. At the end of the day, you're going to have to detach the van and then go around and explore, which means you have to come back home. So if you drive 100 Ks out, you've got to return 100 Ks back. Where with this style, we would just drive that 100 Ks, potentially stay there, and then keep moving on. Where wherever you park the van, you've got to come back home to, and it just adds so much more travel time. Where with this, we had the freedom of exploring and then rocking up somewhere new. That does have its pros and cons for sure, because sometimes it was lovely to come back and just be super comfortable already. Everything's set up, everything there. And if you've come back in bad weather, you can escape the elements. If this has helped one person in trying to decide what they are going to do to travel Australia, we have done everything we have set out to achieve. It is such a daunting task to try and decide how you're going to be comfortable, because a lot of the time you don't know what you're entering into. Our goal is to help people get out here and enjoy Australia. No matter what you have, just be comfortable and get out there and do it. You can do it in a rooftop tent for sure. We have just proven that with a whole year on the road doing it. And we have done it in a caravan in that comfort. There is no right or wrong answer to get out here, chase those dreams and travel Australia. What direction are you going to go? Has this video helped in you deciding whether, yep, we can make do, we can live out of a rooftop tent, or if you go, no, we need to save a little bit more, try and get into a full off-grid setup that can get us into those places that we really want to see. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of this journey. You are an absolute bloody legend, and we'll catch you out there. See you next week. We have recently had a lot of discussion about moving into a rooftop tent. It's a caravan. I forgot. Ready? And have an array. And have a power system. I want to give you our pros and cons. The flies went in my eye.